What is going on, everyone? I didn't think I was going to do a podcast so soon. Sorry, I'm late. By the way, I'm working currently, and so had to do some work-related things, and that's why I'm late. So I appreciate everyone hanging out in the live chat for a little bit while I was getting ready to start the podcast. But let's go ahead. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get into the show right now. All right. Excuse me. All right, everyone. Welcome back to BRAP. I haven't done a BRAP rant in a long time. So, I was actually planning on doing one maybe potentially this weekend, depending on how I feel. For those who don't know, COVID has finally hit my household. So, but so far I am good. No symptoms right now. Going to test again tomorrow. So we'll see. But as you see on the screen here, right here, folks, Bethesda delays Starfield and Redfall to 2023. So, I don't even know where to begin here. Well, first of all, big shout to everyone in the live chat. Thank you all for coming by, hanging out with us. And we may have a guest pop in. I don't know, but do me a favor, hit that like button if you wouldn't mind. And I'm going to drop the link here in the live chat. So please retweet the link or drop it in your favorite social media platform. Let everyone know we're live. So thank you, AC. I appreciate that. All right. So Starfield and Redfall delayed. I don't even know where to begin. Look, obviously delays happen. Like that's a thing in the gaming industry. They just happen. Is what it is, right? But for me at least, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to look. I'm just disappointed. I think with the first party cadence of Microsoft, more specifically, the lack of. I know people are going to be, oh, what about Flight Simulator? Okay, well, I mean that's not really a game. I mean, Microsoft themselves has said that's a simulator. But look, if you enjoy playing flight simulators, you enjoy learning how to actually fly a plane, hey, cool. I mean, I'm not going to disparage you for that, but it's not considered a video game. And Microsoft themselves, even Larry Herb, has publicly stated as much. So I don't want to hear anyone argue with me, oh, it's a video game, prep. No, it's not. Microsoft themselves don't even categorize it as a video game. Anyhow, so I guess my disappointment, if you will, is with the lack of console exclusive content, current gen exclusive content that the Xbox really hasn't had much of. Really hasn't had any, to be honest with you. I'm struggling to think of any other big series only games that have come out since launch in 2020, November 2020, and here we are 2 years, and it's for me it's disappointing. Like I want to see Microsoft, and I use I do have two Series X consoles, but I'm primarily mostly gaming when it's more Xbox related. I'm mostly gaming on the PC side using Game Pass. But even Game Pass, like if I think about Game Pass as a platform, I'm subscribed to Game Pass and have been actually for the last 4 years. If I'm being honest with myself, I really haven't used Game Pass. I haven't used Game Pass much. I didn't need it for Halo Infinite because the multiplayer was free, and I used it for the campaign. But that's the last time I actually used Halo Infinite. Or I'm sorry, it's actually the last time I used Game Pass. Was Halo Infinite to play the campaign, and then the multiplayer. You don't need to have Game Pass to play it; it's free to play, so you don't really need Game Pass for that. You can just download it on Steam if you're playing it on PC, and play it for free that way, which I do, because the Steam version of Halo Infinite doesn't crash as much as the PlayStation. I'm sorry, not PlayStation, the Xbox. Lansville Paul, crap. Oh boy, I don't know what to say about crap. Crap is I've termed him the bipolar gamer, because he just is not making much sense these days. I know he's trying to be positive, but he's gone from one extreme to the other. And in fact, that's just as weird to me. I mean, I don't understand that, but anyhow, to each his own, I suppose. But my point is that for me, I really haven't used Game Pass, and I was really looking forward to Starfield. So let's go to Bethesda's tweet here, where they say, we've made the decision to delay launches of Redfall and Starfield the first half of 2023. By the way, I 2 months ago actually had indicated that this game, that Starfield would probably be delayed to 2023. I'd heard some things from Bethesda. So I have some friends that work there, and so I'd heard some rumblings of a delay potentially. And I've heard some rumblings that, the new timetable target is potentially April 2023. Again, take that with a grain of salt, just things that I'm hearing. I'm not saying this is true, but just things that I've heard. So that's what I've heard, April 2023. But so the teams at RK Austin, Redfall, and Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield have incredible ambitions for their games, and we want to ensure they receive the best, most polished versions of them. So they're saying, hey, you know what? This game we're still working on, development of these games. We want them to be, great, and we want them to be the best experiences possible, which is fine. That's great. Like, I think, hey, you know what? Let these games sit in the oven a little bit more. Let them come out and be released in a way that, where these games don't have bugs or gameplay, game breaking experiences, things like that. I've heard a lot of people talk about cyberpunk today, and I think many of us don't want a cyberpunk type game. So that was their announcement today. But so again, for me, I am disappointed by the fact that I'm disappointed, because I was really, 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 really interested in Starfield. I have enjoyed Bethesda games since I go back to the days of Daggerfall, Elder Scrolls, I'm sorry, or Elder Scrolls, Morrowind. I'm sorry, Morrowind. Oblivion. I mean, I just a big fan of Bethesda. Bethesda's actually they actually sit in my backyard, not physically, literally my backyard, but they are about their headquarters are about 45 minutes south of where I live. And I actually did interview. I was actually in an interview, interviewing with them last year, believe it or not, and decided to go to the company I'm currently with now. But yeah, I do know people there. I have a friend that works for Bethesda, so yeah, like Starfield was the one game that I was looking forward to. So when I subscribe to Game Pass, I see a lot of people talk about the value of Game Pass, and it has all these games you can play, and that's true. It totally does. It totally does. Like, I'm never going to argue that there's a tremendous value proposition that Game Pass potentially offers someone who wants to have access to just an abundance of content, somebody who wants to try and play so many different games. That's going to appeal to that kind of maybe consumer. But I've always argued, and Xbox fans have gotten angry at me for this, but look, I mean, like any other consumer product, consumers, the gaming industry is no different in the sense that consumers in the gaming industry consume gaming differently. It's Game Pass is not a one size shoe fits all type scenario, because consumers have different wants or motivated by different things. And there's consumers, yes, I know this is hard for some people to understand. There's consumers that aren't going to see value in something like Game Pass because they don't see the value of having access to a library of games they may not even play, because they may only buy 2, 3, 4 games a year, and they're content with that. And that's just the reality of the situation. You have people that only play Fortnite. You have people that only play Madden or maybe play GTA online. I mean, so maybe they buy a handful of exclusives and they're good, and that's, hey, I'm done. I got my 3 or 4 or 5 games. I am good to go. So not everyone's going to see value in that. But for me, more specifically to Game Pass, like I bought Game Pass for Microsoft's first party studios for their games day and date for the exclusive content. Because frankly, the other stuff's great, but I haven't found a lot of games to be appealing to me in Game Pass, and I'm not really utilizing Game Pass. Actually, my kids, it's been great for my kids. They're utilizing Game Pass more than I am, but I'm not really utilizing it, and so it's disappointing for me that I have, and I have the option to, utilize Game Pass on my Series X or on my PC, and I just build a 3070 PC, and it's just it's a damn shame that I don't really get to use it for what I was hoping I would use it for, and I'm always looking for I'm always in terms of subscriptions, if I can get a good deal on subscriptions, I'll do that. And I've actually have done that and have, saved about 40% off on Game Pass. And so I've stacked my subscription, but I'm not using it. And so if you think of it, that's not really value to me. Like if you're not utilizing something you pay for, that's not value. And I think there's people out there that say, oh, well, it's tremendous value because it has all these games. Well, that's true. That's more of a proposition. But if you're not utilizing said proposition, what value does it really have then? And so that's kind of where I'm at with Game Pass. It just doesn't have value to me right now because the things that I wanted it for, Microsoft isn't delivering. And it's disappointing. It's disappointing for me. And other Xbox fans are disappointed because, here's a situation where there's a game that a lot of people were looking forward to. Starfield was the game that I wanted the most. I was so hyped. And what seems to be a very dry year for Xbox, Starfield was the one thing that I really wanted. I really wanted this. Like I was looking forward to it. It was, Skyrim in space. My understanding is this is a very ambitious game for Bethesda. I've heard that there are some issues, development issues with developing it for the Series S, given the size or scope of the game. But Jeff B. Games says, BRAP, so you're saying Game Pass is the house phone on your cable bill? Yeah. Yes, that's yeah, I guess you could say that. For me, it is. Not for everyone, though. Real quick, I'm going to grab a super chat real quick from our, for one of the best. I really love this gentleman's name. Borbor Country with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Borbor. It says, if PlayStation is similar, you guys would have crucified them. It's embarrassing that it's been 2 years. No more excuses. What's the cost? No excuses, BRAP. I am voicing my displeasure with this Borbor, but so yeah, look, I was looking forward to Starfield in Game Pass. The idea of Game Pass was appealing to me because Microsoft was going to put their first party games day and date, and these are going to be AAA experiences, and that's really cool. That's awesome. I'm all up, and so that just hasn't really happened. I mean, Halo Infinite was not, and I know Forza was on there, but Forza is not really something I enjoy playing. So for me, Halo Infinite was kind of a miss. I didn't really enjoy the campaign. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It's not my favorite of the Halo campaigns. Game Pass isn't just doing what I thought it would do for me. And this is really disappointing. And again, the cadence in the Xbox community is, 2023 is going to be even better because all these games are dropping, and wait till 2024. And I'm like, well, why are we jumping to those conclusions? We don't have any other release dates for any other games. Am I missing something? Like, I don't see the roadmap that I'm aware of that proves that 2023 and 2024 are going to be great. It's probably better to say, hey, 2023 or 2024 could be really solid if they, if Microsoft announces some games they're going to be releasing, in those years coming up. But without a roadmap, I'm not going to jump to that conclusion. I think the community needs to stop doing that. because you're only setting yourself up for disappointment. I see that a lot where people are setting themselves up for disappointment. And it's like, and people were hyping up Starfield as the holy grail of Xbox. It's like, let's stop doing that. Like, it's okay to be excited about something, but let's not, put this thing on this pedestal where it just doesn't really meet realistic expectations. And here we are with the game. I know I'm talking a lot about Starfield, but obviously Redfall was impacted by this delay too, which I'm totally fine with. And I really wasn't interested in Redfall anyway. From what I saw, I got enough multiplayer games I can play. It just didn't really seem like it was my thing. I would probably given it a try, but this just seems like a look. I get that game development takes time. I also didn't have the expectation. This is where I say manage your expectations. With the acquisitions that Microsoft made, I didn't have the expectation that a lot of the developers that they bought, this 30 studios or whatever they own, plus the Activision deal, whatnot. I didn't I didn't have the expectation that all of a sudden the floodgates of content were going to open, because game development does take time. This wasn't anything that was going to just happen overnight, or there was going to flip a magic switch and we're going to get all these games. So I didn't have that expectation going into or thinking of these acquisitions, right? I figured games will take time. What's curious though to me is what Microsoft hasn't been doing to kind of buffer the quote unquote maybe regular cadence of exclusive content from first party. What I mean by that is maybe locking up third party content. I mean, we saw Sony do that with Deathloop. We saw Sony's essentially locked up Final Fantasy VII Remake at this point. That game's not coming to Xbox. But you look at some of the other games that Sony's locked up, as timed exclusives. There's that game from Square Enix, and I forget the name of it now. I'm drawing a blank. That just got delayed till April of 2023 or 2020. Yeah, 2020. No, when? God, I can't remember the name of the game. I'm sorry. God, now this could drive me fucking crazy. What's the name of the game? Forspoken. Yeah, so they have that, and then you look at Sony. They locked up. And again, I know this game is further down the road, but they've locked up the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, which I understand is actually a 3-game deal and not just Knights of the Old Republic, but it's also going to include Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 and a potential third Knights of the Republic. But anyhow, so I just I'm just curious by that, and I'm curious why they haven't, and maybe they have. Maybe there's things out there where they have locked down timed content as exclusives, and they're going to maybe show that at this year's E3. I hope that's the case because, part of the appeal of Game Pass is getting access to games were quote unquote free, if you will, without having to pay $60 or $70 for new content. And that's why that's why I got into Game Pass. I wanted these first party games. I wanted these exclusives I can only get on Xbox, and I didn't want to pay for them individually. And it's just something that seemed appealing to me. And I just because, yeah, if I could pay $180 a year and only and play 4 or 5 first party, or exclusives in a year, or maybe even if it's like 2 or 3, and then you get a couple other games sprinkled in there. I mean that's actually seemed worth it to me, but that cadence just hasn't happened yet. It's really disappointing that we haven't seen that just yet. I do want to pull something up here real quick. I'm going to pull up Phil Spencer's tweet here because good old Phil. I get Microsoft wanting to discuss why they delayed the game, but hold on a sec here. All right. Now let me scroll down here to. Unfortunately, because of the way things are laid out, you can't see it. Let me try moving this around real quick. Oh, that made it worse. Nope, that didn't work. All right. There we go. All right, fortunately the way this Fortunately, the way this banner's laid out, you can't see it, but I'm going to read Phil Spencer's tweet. So this was actually Phil's tweet. All right, he says Phil Spencer says these decisions are hard on teams. These decisions are hard on teams making the games and our fans. Wait, hold on. These decisions are hard on teams and making the games and our fans. While I fully support giving teams time to release these great games when they are ready, we hear the feedback. Delivering quality and consistency is expected. We will continue to work to better meet those expectations. Look, okay. This is where all right, here's my thing. Just my quick opinion on this. I just feel like this has kind of been a consistent message with Xbox. It's like, and it's getting to the point for me where it's like, yeah, we get it. Another delay. You want you want to give us quality, consistency, but I feel like Phil has said this over and over again, and it's like, and it's not happening. And for me as a consumer, having subscribed to Game Pass and not using it, yeah, like that's not just that's not working for me, Phil. And you talk about the consistency and quality and giving teams time, but then here we are with Halo Infinite and season 2 just released and it's still bad. It's not good. And I've been look, I'll admit I have been playing Halo 2 season 2. I've been playing Team Slayer a lot, and one of the reasons why I've continued playing that game multiplayer, one because I needed to, after playing some single player campaign open world games, back to back in Horizon Forbidden West and Elden Ring, I needed like a palate cleanser, right? And I think Halo Infinite was that for me. And I'm playing with Game Logic, and so I have someone to team up with to play Team Slayer, and so that's been cool. It's been fun playing with them. Otherwise, I wouldn't even, if I didn't have him to team up with, I truthfully I wouldn't even be playing Halo Infinite multiplayer. But even then, the multiplayer, like the in-game the in-game XP system is not great. You spend 15 minutes in a match, you only get 50 points. What else? The cosmetics aren't great. The in-game economy still needs work. They need more maps. They need more quality of life things, like being able to, if you only want to play Team Slayer on Market, you could select that map, and that's the map you'll play in consistently. Like, do that. They used to do that before to be able to filter out. They've done it in other Halo games. And look, Halo Infinite probably should have been delayed even more. Just look at that. I mean, you have 2 seasons and a year time frame for that game. So Phil, again, I understand the messaging, but like this is a problem now where it's like, is this going to be an issue of consistency or quality with your games? Because there seems to be an issue with not all releases, but some of the bigger releases like Halo Infinite. And so I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're starting to sound a little bit like a broken record here. And again, they are not delivering on the things that I want, that I wanted to see in Game Pass, which are the reasons why I signed up for Game Pass. So I appreciate the transparency, but now it's time to put up or shut up. And I have this feeling that we're going to wait for some time for even more content to be released. And I get it, but there should have been at least some drip of content. I mean, look at Sony's done a really great job years 1 and 2 of the PlayStation 5. Although Sony's messaging has been lackluster a bit this console generation, their cadence of releases has been really good. I mean, they have some PlayStation 5 exclusives in, Demon Souls remake. God, what's the game by Housemarque now? I'm sorry. I'm totally, I haven't been getting much sleep. Demon Souls, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, they had Deathloop as an exclusive. So I mean, they've been, and then they have the cross gen stuff. And look, Horizon Forbidden West being cross gen. Let me tell you, on the PlayStation 5, it's one of the best games I've played this generation so far. One of the best looking games I've played this generation so far. The implementation of the haptic feedback controller has been fucking excellent in that game, and with some of the other PlayStation 5 titles as well. Thank you, Sergeant. It is, yeah, I did remember it. So that's kind of been lacking to me with some of Microsoft stuff. I mean, obviously Halo Infinite and Forza. They've had Psychonauts. They've had some, like, Psychonauts was a great release for them, but Psychonauts was also a multi-plat game as well. It was on PlayStation and PC. And again, that's not to take away from the quality of that game. I'm just saying, like, if we're comparing, what the cadence of, exclusive only content, I just feel like PlayStation's done a better job in that regard. And I feel like the investment I made in PlayStation has paid off more dividends for me than investing in Game Pass has. And so again, I mean, I've spent money into Game Pass. It's not doing what I wanted to do. I suppose I could cancel my subscription, but I've already spent the money. I'm not going to do that. My kids are using it, so I guess I'm getting some value out, or they are, but I'm not really getting value out of it right now, and that's just unfortunate. So I do think it's time for Microsoft just to look, just do whatever you need to do to get some great games into Game Pass, because I think that you start doing that, you start drip feeding those, great exclusive AAA games or whatever it is, those third party games that come into Game Pass. Can you imagine like if they at Microsoft, and I know this game is early, imagine had Guardians of the Galaxy imagine if that game had dropped into Game Pass day and date, like, holy shit, that'd been like amazing. Like, so even if it's not first party stuff, like if you get like Outriders, I thought was a great day and date pickup. Like if you get more of that kind of stuff, like that would be appealing to me. But something's got to give. I mean, they really, and again, I understand the development cycle's long, but I as a consumer, I want to see more stuff on a regular cadence in Game Pass. That's going to be a little more appealing to me. I don't want to look. If you like indies, if you like older games, that's fine. A lot of the games that Microsoft's put into Game Pass, I played already, or the smaller titles that I just don't care for. So I want to see something different there in that regard. So, and if you like those things, hey, more power to you. But again, this goes back to my point though earlier. Game Pass is not a one size shoe fits all for people, and I know there's people in the community that like to push that. Look, guys, it's everyone has different consumer. Every consumer has different needs. Every consumer has a threshold of what they're willing to invest in terms of time and money. And yeah, Game Pass is not going to be for everyone. It's a great value proposition, but it's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to see value in it. And there's going to be times where people are in it and say, you know what? I'm not happy with the cadence of releases or the content they're releasing. I'm out of here. And there's going to be some people that are going to say, you know what? This is awesome. I get to have all access to all these games, and this is great. And that's going to happen too. But the point is that consumers are just diverse, and that's it. So, so one of the other things that I've seen more recently too is, I'm reading some of the comments about, look, here's the one thing that frustrates me, that, it's not that it's frustrating. It's a head scratcher for me, because from a consumer perspective, like one of the things that I've seen, being discussed with the delays is, well, hey, look, you know what? Yeah, the 2022 lineup from Xbox is not looking too hot right now, right? And I hope they have something. I really do, because they need to have some content. They really do. I mean, you Game Pass is going to live and die on a good cadence of content releases, and so hopefully they have that this year. Maybe there's some things we don't know about in the works. So, but one of the things I've been seeing is, hey, you know what? Yeah, 2022 looks kind of scary. Blah blah blah. Um, if they put if they release these games, it didn't work. There'd be people complain about it. Um, you know, kind of but 2023, 2024 looks good. It's like okay, like let's look. I get the silver lining stuff, but let's also hold. Let's also it's okay to be like, hey, you know what, this isn't for me. And the only concern I had with the silver lining stuff is that potentially, and I say this probably applies, I think, more to Microsoft because they seem to be more heavily involved in listening to the community than Sony is. Sony's like, you know what, we're not going to listen to you guys. Sony's kind of like, hey, you know what, we're the we got the console, the product, we got the product, if you will, that everybody wants. So you know what, take it or leave it. Where Microsoft is a little more engaged, kind of more grassroots in the community, seemingly listening to the community. And Phil just is tweeting there. I don't think you'd see Jim Ryan do something like that, but Phil, tweeting. Um, the silver lining stuff, I understand it, but let's stop. Like, it's okay to be like, hey, you know what, guys, this isn't working out for me. My concern is the silver lining stuff is that they see it and they're like, hey, you know what, our fans are fine, they're okay, and then that sets the precedent. They can do whatever they want. I mean, so I get the positivity, but for me, having invested in Game Pass, and if you spend $500 on a console that was marketed as a 12 teraflop eats monsters machine, and I haven't seen a game that makes me say, "Oh, this thing is eating monsters." It's okay to call those things out and say, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, I do enjoy the Xbox platform, but these are areas of improvement. These are things that I'd like to see change." I see some of that, but I don't see a lot of it. Now, again, I'm only referring to Twitter, and Twitter's obviously a very small piece of the pie, if you will, the gaming community. Um, but again, I get the delay, but I can't say I'm not disappointed by this delay, and it's left me wondering, when am I going to use Game Pass again? Like, Microsoft, I hope you have something for me where I can say, "Oh, I'm going to play this on Game Pass." Because right now I have locked myself. I spent like, God, what did I do? I stacked this past fall, so I probably spent about 6 months. They were 6 month subscriptions. I'm trying to do the math here. 40, 80. So I spent about $120 in extending my subscription, and I've only used Game Pass once. So yeah, that's not okay for me. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more. Like, and I don't know what more it may, more could be third party, you know, day and date releases. Although I don't see that happen. I don't see big AAA games going day and date. Um, I could be wrong, but I think if it's a successful franchise that is selling well or that has a track record of selling well, I don't see it going in. But hell, even if it's a new AAA and it's a good AAA, like that would be great for me. That would be wonderful. What's up, Karan Williams? By the way, everyone, please hit that like button. We got like over 100 people watching, only 2 likes. Come on, hit that like button. Hit the like button. I think at this point, Microsoft's got to have something. And let me know what everyone in the live chat thinks. Like, I think Microsoft's got to have something lined up, right, for this year. They can't go a whole year without an exclusive. Like, holy shit, imagine that. A whole year without an exclusive? And I don't want to hear exclusives don't matter, because they do matter. People actually buy platforms for exclusives. So I got to think that Forza Motorsport comes out this year. It has to. I mean, because like, what else do they have? I don't know. See, that's part of the problem. I don't know. And as a consumer, I feel like I have a better roadmap for what Sony's doing than I do Microsoft at the moment. I mean, I know Microsoft has bought all these big, but the ABK deal, and they bought all these studios, but yeah, that's all I know. And I don't invest in products in the hopes that things are delivered. Per se, I invest in the here and now, and Microsoft did had Gears 5 that released in Game Pass years ago, but I do want to see just a regular cadence of content from them. I don't know, but this June show needs to be good. This June show needs to be good for Microsoft because they need to really lay down a solid roadmap, show us what's coming to Game Pass. I keep saying Game Pass; it's all about Game Pass. But I do think I do want to see a roadmap from them, what's coming down the pipeline. Because if they don't, and if they start showing stuff in 2023, like, that's great. But I got to wait now to 2023? Why? And I don't care for the old content that's coming into Game Pass. Like, that doesn't interest me. I want those shiny new games. I don't know. I think there's a lot riding on this June event for them. I think if they come out and they show some of the games that their studio acquisition, some of the studios they've acquired are working on, I think that's great. But I think they got to show some things that are maybe releasing later this year, even if it's Forza. Yeah. I think I may have missed a super chat. Let me scroll up here real quick. Drawn TJ with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that. Drawn says they're going to have to get third party into Game Pass to make up for the problem. I say put Test Drive Unlimited, Solar Crown, and Gotham Knights in the Game Pass. Yeah, I've seen people. That's what I was saying earlier, Drawn T. Like, for me, for somebody who hasn't used Game Pass since November, like, that would be great. Like, put those games into Game Pass if they can get them. Gotham Knights. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Gotham Knights would be just on its name alone, and some of the hype would probably be something that would be attractive to people in Game Pass. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think they got to do something like that. Because if it's looking kind of dry, I need water. It's dry. It's looking a little dry out there. And again, like, it's funny. Like, I know it's going to happen after this. The comments I'm going to get, people, oh, you're just hitting on Xbox BRAP, your pony. No, I'm a consumer, and if I've invested in something I'm not happy with, I'm going to voice my opinion on that. I'm going to say, look, I'm not happy with that. Phil Spencer, do a better job. Do a better job with your cadence of releases in the Game Pass. Like, come on. But he probably doesn't care. They may not even care because, hey, they got BRAP's money already. They got BRAP's, BRAP's locked into Game Pass for another, 2 years. So, hey, fuck it. They got my money. It's, they got my money. They got my money without me using a product. Jesus, think about that. They have my money without me using it. You're using the product that I bought into. Kind of reminds me of, I'm not going to say, well, it made me think of gym membership, but I'm not trying to equate Game Pass to gym membership. I'm just saying, like, that's kind of how I've used gym memberships in the past, where I sign up and then I don't use it. I'm still paying a monthly fee until I realize, wait a minute, I got to cancel the gym membership. I'm not saying Game Pass is the equivalent of gym membership. It's an analogy. Just, I don't know, people are going to think that I'm doing that. I'm not doing that. So, What's up, Strictly Gaming? Strictly Gaming with the $10 super chat says it won't be long until Xbox announces their premium AAA titles are not going to be on Game Pass day one. Watch probably after Starfield release. Great day, BRAP. Thank you, Strictly, man. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat, sir. And you as well. Thank you, sir. Hey, big win, by the way. I think you are a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. Big win last. Or actually, they didn't win last night. Never mind. I still think they take the series against the Rangers, though. Thank you for that super chat, Strictly. Ah, true, Virgil. Crap gamers probably like, man, it's not that big of a deal. That's kind of what Crap's doing. I'm picking on Crap, by the way, because I don't understand this 180 he's done. He went from one extreme to the other. I don't know. Crap, if you're out there, man, it's not about being angry, as you say. It's about just, hey, providing constructive criticism, man. There's nothing wrong with that. We're consumers. You pay into something. It's okay, man. It's okay. By the way, I've been seeing this crap curse. What is that about, by the way? I've seen a couple of people tweet that the crap, what does that mean? Somebody explain to me what the crap curse is, because I have no idea what that is. T. Harris, by the way, Elden Ring is officially Game of the Year now. I thought it was Game of the Year anyway. I don't see anything else knocking it off of the Game of the Year, whatever, throne, if you will. I think it's going to take Game of the Year. That game just has done things that many games don't do. But anyhow, so I've also seen some people say that this is further evidence that Microsoft isn't managing these studios. I'm not so sure. I'm not going to speculate in that regard because I don't know I don't know the development situation of Starfield. I do know that my understanding is Bethesda is really calling the shots. Like, it is Todd and Pete Hines, and they have the deal. From what I understand is, hey, you know what? Hey, what's up, Wooly? The deal, from what I understand, is that you own us, but we're going to operate the way we want to still. Meaning that, hey, you don't have any really, say per se. That's my understanding, and that's what I was told when I was interviewing there. That in fact they are operating as nothing's changed. So I'm not sure that this is any kind of mismanagement by Microsoft. I just think the games just isn't ready. I've heard some people say, well, why do they, give a November launch date? It's a great question. Who knows? Maybe they felt like the game was ready. Maybe it was going to be ready by then. Maybe this is, I know that there's been staffing issues within the industry. There's been like turnover, people leaving. I mean, that tends to happen, but there seems to be a little bit more of that as people are kind of reevaluating. This is happening in multiple industries, by the way. Kind of reevaluating. There's look. I mean, if you're a software developer, you're in the industry. There's a lot of companies that are poaching that talent right now and giving people tremendous sign-on bonuses and salary increases to join their company. So maybe it's something related to that, but but I'm not. I can't. I don't think I can say for sure why. They would announce it if they didn't know it was ready. Who knows? I don't know if that's a leadership thing. I could see how people would come to that conclusion given the Halo fiasco, which was a fiasco because Phil and company didn't know they were releasing that vertical slice of Craig when they showed that off. Like, actually, the leadership didn't know that. They did not see that, which is kind of interesting. So I'm not going to say it's totally, attributed to, Phil Spencer's leadership. I'll say that I've talked to developers, and actually Phil is actually quite respected in the industry and within Microsoft. I haven't heard any developer say that they question his leadership or his motives or his vision. I've heard actually quite the opposite. So, but I think Matt Booty, there's been some things that I've heard about him and his lack of maybe direction or maybe managing studios that maybe need a little more handholding. So I've heard some things there, but yeah, I'm not so sure I'm attributing it to management issues with Bethesda. I mean, Bethesda is a well-oiled machine. This isn't their first rodeo in my understanding with Bethesda is they are operating as is, and this is probably a Todd Howard call, I think, more than anything else. So I don't think it's, you know, this is, there's probably I think there's a lot right. Remember, this is their first. This is Bethesda's first. God, I don't even talk about Redfall. Uh, and Redfall was the other game delayed, but anyhow, you know, this is there's probably a lot riding on this game for Bethesda. I think from a reputation standpoint, because of Fallout 76 and how Fallout 76 came out in really bad shape. And this is their first new IP in like 20 something years. So there's probably a lot of, I would imagine that they probably want to get this game right. They probably want to make sure that this game lives up, because there's expectations, lofty expectations, right or wrong, for this game. And so maybe that's kind of the motivation here. So, but again, here we are in 2022, and things are looking a little dry for me. And unfortunately, Game Pass isn't delivering the kind of content or experience that I want right now. So I hope that changes, because if it doesn't, I'm just gonna look. If it doesn't change, I'm not going to subscribe to Game Pass anymore. It's just not worth my time, money to do so. And again, I know people are going to be like, "Oh, you're just hating on Game Pass." No, like if I'm as a consumer, why would I continue paying for something I don't use? And again, this is where this is what the thing that fucking drives me crazy is that people think that because it's this great value, and then they're in this echo chamber, and they're in these podcasts talking about how great Game Pass is, no, like that's your little clique, like your little arena of people that think that, yeah, that works for you, but not everyone thinks the same way. Not everyone sees value in the same things. I often wonder why people treat the gaming industry different than other industries when, when the gaming industry is a for-profit industry, no different than, any other for-profit industry. Consumers have different motivations in the gaming industry, very similar to any other industry. So I just, Wooly, that's gross, man. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And it drives me crazy. And that's why I kind of been outspoken about, Game Pass, and even for developers, I've talked to game developers that aren't entirely excited about Game Pass. They're concerned that that maybe their games will get buried in Game Pass, and maybe not necessarily have a fighting chance per se, or get marketed correctly, or maybe there's a certain type of game, and then there's some the economics of it, that some developers have said, hey, look, if this game is doing well and we get a flat fee, like, do we get additional compensation? Like, how does that work? Those are real conversations, real things that we have that I've heard from developers. And actually, we had Agent Deli on. He used to be a developer at Ubisoft, and he kind of mentioned something similar in that regard too. He talked about some of the concerns that developers have. So, it's going to be good for some people. It's going to be bad for others. And I think it's fair to bring those things up, to bring those conversations up. But Wooly says, yeah. Yeah, Wooly, the whole Game Pass, look, people need to, I'm glad you brought this up, Wooly. One of the things I've been seeing more recently, I saw someone say the other day, they didn't think that PlayStation Premium is going to be successful if it doesn't do games day and date. I'm like, well, how do you know that? Like, how do you arrive to that conclusion without any data points or any? You don't know what KPIs Sony has in place to determine whether or not their service is successful, right? Yeah. It's more than just subscribers. It's the profit margins, profitability, revenue, all those KPIs. It's really difficult to say. I saw somebody else tweet, a prominent um, I'm sorry. Hold on just a sec here. I saw a prominent YouTuber on the Xbox side, post this mathematical equation, and yeah, math wasn't wrong necessarily in the equation, but one, he's in no position to make such suggestions without, I guess, really having any insight into Sony's, you know, he's without understanding Sony's business model. And this individual is only solely making it about the math, but it's more than just the math, and that's the problem that I have. And people do. I don't know why people do this, but they make these assumptions based on very limited information. They're not in a position to make. Look, there's just a big disconnect between what people know on podcasts and what and the knowledge of people that are in the industry. And and I've seen that quite. I've had developers tell me that. Which is one of the reasons sometimes developers don't want to come on podcast. But but so there was this mathematical equation coming out that basically this person put together that where they said, they were talking about the comment for Sony's CFO Hiroki Toroki. We talked about that the math or the finances behind putting a AAA game day and date just didn't make sense for them because the impact of quality could be affected or quality could be impacted by doing that. So this person put this together, this mathematical equation. But the problem with the equation is that it's only solely about math. And part of it, and actually, great conversation with Game Logic we had on BRAP about this, but he actually brought this up too. But part of the equation is also Sony's risk exposure. You got to remember, I mean, Sony and Microsoft, two different companies. A third of Sony's revenue is from PlayStation, so they're going to be a little bit risk adverse to, potentially damage that brand or do things that may cost them revenue. Like that makes sense to me. I mean, but I guess one of the interesting question is why do people feel, and we talked about this on Brap, like why do people feel as like Sony's the market leader? So why do people feel like Sony needs to do day and date? They don't have to. They're the market leader. They just and if they had to pivot to do it, to do games day and date, they have the content, they have valuable intellectual property where they could do that. So I don't understand the obsession of people wanting to put, okay. If Sony put games day and date in PlayStation Plus Premium, hey, I would be all for it. Shit, I hope they actually do that on PC because then I could just cut the cord on consoles and just only primarily play on PC. And actually, more Sony exclusives are coming to PC. I think Sony's pretty much confirmed that. Sony is the market leader. They're choosing to keep costs, schedules, and scope the same to keep that level of quality that they feel like they have right now. And that's kind of their. I think that is what I think we've all come to identify the brand with. That in fact that it's just like I look at PlayStation almost like as a luxury brand, right? You get these these experiences that you just can't get anywhere else in the gaming industry. So and there's some so there's that. So I don't think they. I just don't understand that outport for their demand that Sony has to do this. They don't have to. They're the market leader. They don't have to do it. And if it makes sense, they could pivot because they have a service now to do so, and they have valuable intellectual property. Where look, let's face it, if Sony said, "Hey guys, we're going to charge you $120 a year, and you're going to get all the first party content day and date," I'd be surprised if many of you in this panel or this chat ears did not perk up and say, "Hey, where do I sign up?" Because I know I would. But until then, I'm okay buying their games too because I find value in their games. So. It's somebody brought down Scalebound, Crackdown 3. Yeah, I mean, I could see why people are kind of hearkening to, geez, like how they, yeah, their history, their track record, and that's what I'm saying. Like Phil, it's kind of sound like a broken record now, and that's what I'm saying. It's time to just deliver the goods. They're in a much better place. They're in a much better place. But and I get it. I get that games take a long time, but shit, I've been waiting years now. I feel like, and that was some of the content they've released. I just haven't really been impressed with it. Crackdown 3 was terrible. Halo Infinite Halo is not the king. People were saying the king is back. The king is not back. The king is not back. And I can tell you that. And now we have Master Chief, by the way, having sex with Covenant forces on the Halo TV show, which fucking blows my mind. But that's another conversation. That's another BRAP rant, by the way. But like you look at Halo Infinite Season 2, I think on Steam, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition has more players, active players, than Halo Infinite Season 2 does right now. Yeah. So yeah. They still they still have a lot of work to do. Microsoft, they still have a lot of work to do. Yeah, it's great. They've addressed the issue of not having enough first party developer studios. They've addressed that. They made the big ABK deal, but they got to start cranking out some stuff, or else I'm probably at some point gonna say, you know what, Game Pass, no, I'll just cherry pick what games I buy then, because I'm not utilizing it. Doesn't make sense for me to pay for something I'm not using. So, just my 2 cents. All right, everyone. Why are people still watching Halo TV show? I don't know. Like, I think episode 5 was the last one that I watched. And what's up, Ramon? Hey, Ramon. You know what? I was just Ramon. I was just made aware that you had a Kickstarter. Is that still going on, man? Because if it is, dude, I want to support your content, man. So if there's any way I can, if it's not going on, if there's any way I can support, like if you got a PayPal or something, I definitely want to support some of the work you're doing, man. So, but great to see you in the live chat, Ramon. Great to see you, man. But yeah. All right, everyone. So that's all I got to say about this whole delay situation. The fact that things might be looking a little dry, unfortunately, for the Xbox in 2022. Yeah. So, yeah, everyone, let me know in the in the comment section what you all think Microsoft needs to do. They need to lock down some third-party deals and Game Pass. Yeah, actually, Ramon, drop the link here and DM it to me, man. So let everyone know. By the way, Ramon's going to drop the link, I think, to his Kickstarter. So Ramon, drop that in the link here, but also DM me on Twitter as well. Just wait. Sometimes you have to just ignore Forte. I wish Forte was here. I wish he was here. But anyhow, this is, by the way, this is why I believe you have to own all consoles if you can, because see, even with like, if you have a drought like this, at least you got other platforms to play on, so you don't miss out on stuff, right? Actually, someone asked me today, what BRAP, why'd you say on Twitter that you wouldn't recommend an Xbox Series console to someone who's buying a console right now? I just wouldn't. I don't think that. I think you can get the same content and more on the PlayStation 5, and you can get current gen experiences on the PlayStation 5 that you can't get on the Series X console right now. Like, I just feel like you need a Series X. Maybe Series S, but yeah. Anyhow. That's my opinion on if someone was asking me, hey, which console should I get? So that's kind of where I was going with that. But yeah, I definitely do believe in owning multiple platforms, because that way you never miss out on anything, right? You don't have to worry about droughts. Ramon, I don't know if Ramon dropped the link yet. Yes, get a PC. Facts. PC is the best gaming platform out there, by the way. Telling you right now, PC is the best gaming platform. Yeah, Salman actually brings up an interesting point. Like, and actually, this is interesting. The worst impact is that this delay makes a huge shift to another title, so further away release time. Like, yeah, does this potentially have? And let me know, by the way, in the comment section. Do you all think that this delay potentially impacts other games? Like, you know, does the release window for games get a little bit too crowded for Microsoft, where they kind of need to space games out to let them breathe, so that people play them? Right? I mean, that's a great point. Kevin Max says PC is the best game platform if you have thousands of dollars to spend on said platform. Look, man, people spend thousands of dollars on consoles, and if you ask me what that means, people buy multiple, hardware iterations. How many people did I see go out and buy OLED TVs for the Series X? And those OLED TVs run about $2,000. Thank you. And all the controllers they buy that run about $60 a pop. You can get a good PC, for about $1,500. You'll get better performance. Hey, Cole, say I just said 1,500. Look at that. So yeah, I mean, hey, Ham Solo, come on, man. PC's the best platform to play games, man. Viper, you might be onto something, by the way. Sign up for 1 month, beat the game, cancel. I know people that do that. So yeah, Key Up 901 says GPU prices are dropping back to MSRP. They are, man. That's wild. And it's crazy because I just built my rig right before the PC drop came. So, all right, everyone. Look, first of all, I want to thank everyone for watching. Really appreciate this. You guys coming by to hang out with me on this impromptu rant. By the way, hit that like button. Got 46 likes, over 100 people here watching. Hit that like button. So anyhow, I'm going to try to do these BRAP rants on a regular cadence, because when I was doing them on a regular cadence, like, people actually really liked them because they're kind of off the cuff. And anyhow, but yeah. So look, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you all for coming by, hanging out with me. Please hit that like button. Sorry I was late again. Something work related. But please hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. And if you didn't get a chance to, check out last night's BRAP. We had Game Logic on. It was my man Eric Jackson's last episode on BRAP. For those who know, Eric has been a long-time panel member for 7 years on BRAP. We wouldn't be here without him, but he is retiring. But please check out last night's BRAP as well. Great show. We had Game Logic on. Had a really great conversation about things DRM related, and Sony's commentary on, oh, look at Gaming Forte. What's going on here? What's going on here, Gaming Forte, is you were late, sir. I tried calling you, Forte, to see if you could join the show, Forte. Big shout out to my man, Gaming Forte. I love Forte, though. I really do. I love him. Great individual. Check out DPS tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I think it's going to be on Forte's channel, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, check out DPS tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. All right. On that note, I am out. And I will catch you all later. Peace. I'm going to call you soon. I'm going to call you, Forte, as soon as I get off the what's it called here.